How often should I do strength and conditioning sessions, and how long should the sessions be? Good question. Um, you know, Boxing's a very individual thing, okay? Very individual. So there's not going to be a one size fits all for this answer. It'd be dope if I could be like, all right, so everybody should be doing strength and conditioning 2 days a week, and everybody should be doing fundamental boxing training 3 days a week, and one day a week we're gonna do a long run, 2 days a week. It's a very individual thing. Everybody's a little bit different. Everybody has different needs. So it depends on how much strength and conditioning do you need. How much skills training do you need? You know what I mean? Like, if you come to me and you're already in good shape, but your skills need work, then I'm probably going to focus more on fundamental training with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be teaching you stuff, working on your craft, helping you with your fundamentals, getting you the sparring that you need, working on developing you as a fighter. Because that's number one. You have to remember that strength and conditioning is supplemental to boxing. A lot of people who started nowadays, what they want to do is they want to supplement strength and conditioning with boxing. It's almost like strength and conditioning is more important than boxing. It's like, since when did, being in really good shape only, override boxing fundamentals, developing a good jab, developing a good cross, developing a good hook, uppercut, good defensive techniques, good footwork, strategy, tactics? Since when did strength and conditioning overcome that? So, the problem is, guys are now sold that strength and conditioning is the number one priority for guys to be prepared for combat. But you have to remember, when you're boxing, you're working out, right? When I'm shadow boxing the way I'm supposed to, I'm working out. When I'm hitting the bag the way I'm supposed to, I'm working out. When I'm sparring 4 to 6 to 8 to 10 rounds with competitive work, I'm working out. When you're jumping rope and doing double unders and everything else and elevating your heart rate, you're working out. When you're hitting the speed bag and you're jumping at the same time the way Pacquiao does, and you're constantly your shoulders are being worked, you're jumping like you're jumping rope, you're working out. If you also add some running and some sprinting to your program, how much more do you really think your body really needs? We have to ask ourselves that. You're running miles, you're sprinting, you're jumping rope, you're shadow boxing, you're hitting heavy bags, you're sparring. We're doing core work. All boxing coaches put their fighters through a good core routine. We're doing some calisthenics as well. We're not just training you for boxing. We're also putting you through some basic calisthenics as well. Push-ups, pull-ups, dips, stuff like that manner. Sledgehammer work. You know what I mean? Combat ropes. A lot of boxing coaches are already doing all these things. Now you bring in a strength and conditioning coach. How much more do you really think you need? You know what I'm saying? You got to ask yourself that. If you was to do a typical bodybuilding routine, you're going to do chest and back. Chest one day. Let's go with the basic one. You're going to do chest and triceps, back and buys. Legs one day, shoulders one day, or legs and shoulder together. You might repeat. You might do a little bit of cardio. But you're not going to be boxing on top of that, running on top of that, doing all that, because then you get injured, right? So I know I'm probably going all over the place. How often should I do strength and conditioning sessions? The reason why I'm saying all of that is to say, for one, it depends on what your personal needs are. I don't know how out of shape you are. You got guys who get in shape before they start boxing. So what they'll do is they'll be like, I got to get in shape to get in shape. So what they'll do is they'll work out, get their body down in weight or whatever, and then they'll come to the boxing gym to start their boxing training. You know what I'm saying? Because they were really out of shape in between camps. It happens a lot. Now, are you that guy? Or are you a guy who's already in good shape and now you're ready to box? Are you that guy? So a lot of variables here, but always remember this. Everything you do outside of boxing is supplemental to your boxing. So the number one focus should be boxing. We should be shadow boxing. We should be working on our craft. We should be hitting mitts and heavy bags and sparring. Trust me, if you want to get in some good shape, get some good sparring. Get some good sparring. I get you ready for a fight with just that. I'll get you ready. I don't even need a heavy bag. Get me some good work and get me a guy who's willing to endure the work, and we'll get ready for a fight. You feel me? Like, I'm not saying you're going to get ready and win a world championship with that, because you do need everything. You do need your heavy bag. You do need your mitts. You need your shields, the body armors, and all of those things to help really, really, really develop. But the main thing, sparring. Let's get some good, solid work. I guarantee you a good, solid sparring session is going to be harder than any of that strength and conditioning, and more beneficial. You know, when I went to personal training school like 15 years ago to get a mini degree, because I wanted to be a personal trainer and stuff, add that to my boxing expertise. And one of the main things we talked about was functional training. And functional training was basically just training specific to whatever you're doing. So boxing training is a very functional training method of training, because we're shadow boxing exactly what we would do when we're throwing punches and working our defense and, you know, envisioning and using all that stuff, right? We're hitting heavy bags. Again, the same stuff. We're hitting mitts. If you got a good trainer, you're hitting mitts correctly. You're working on the same stuff. You feel me? Jumping rope. Very similar to a rhythm that you're going to use in boxing, your footwork rhythm, and, you know, it gives you that. You know what I'm saying? So boxing and sparring. Sparring is basically simulation of a fight. You're actually getting punched. So the boxing training is really enough. With a slight touch, a little sprinkle on top of some strength and conditioning, and anything can be considered strength and conditioning. I don't necessarily believe that you need to bring in a strength and conditioning professional. I think that if you're doing all the boxing stuff that you're supposed to do, if you know, add on a couple of things, you know what I mean, just to help with some strength, you know what I mean, and help you elevate your heart rate, that's more than enough, you know what I mean? But hey, we'll maybe get a little bit deeper on that subject a little bit later. But yeah. You get me started, I'll start ranting, man. You know what I mean? I'll start ranting. But good question. Thank you for your question.